How is it going, everyone? It's Caleb here, and today we are going to be talking about a video game on the original Nintendo Entertainment System. This game has been around for quite some time. It was actually on a few other systems as well, including in the arcades. This is actually an arcade game. It's a port of an arcade game. We're going to be talking about Popeye. I love the old Popeye cartoon. I used to watch it quite a bit growing up, and I remember going to book fairs and buying the Popeye DVDs that they would have there and going home and watching those, and I just always had a good time with the show. And this video game, it does capture the feeling of Popeye, and I think that's pretty important whenever you're getting any sort of licensed game, if it captures the feeling of the TV show or the movie that it's related to. And this game does do a good job of doing that. It is similar to Donkey Kong in a lot of ways, and I see a lot of comparisons to that, and I do kind of get it, but it also sets itself apart from it quite a bit, because you're not really running to the top of the screen and trying to get to Donkey Kong. You are still trying to save, the damsel in distress, but you are trying to do it in a different way. You're basically running away from Brutus in this game as Popeye, and you're trying to collect all these different things that Olive Oyl is dropping down. And if you can collect all the items that Olive Oyl is dropping, then you'll be able to save her and go on to the next level. There's only 3 different screens in this game, and they're not very bright or colorful. They're pretty plain looking, if I'm being honest, but it does still capture the feeling of Popeye due to the music in the game. The music is very obviously Popeye. The characters are very well made. You can tell what every sprite is in this game. And just the actual settings that you do see in this game, whenever you're on the boat at the end of the game, which is the final level, you have the first level, which is kind of looks like docks, and then you have an actual kind of small little building area. It just kind of captures the area of Popeye and the feeling of Popeye, so that's always good as well. And running around from Brutus and running away from Brutus can be pretty fun and also a little bit frustrating because Brutus has a few different moves that he can use against you, and you don't have a whole lot of ways to defend yourself from Brutus. One of the only ways you can really defend yourself from Brutus and knock him out is if you find spinach. And if you find spinach, you can pick it up as Popeye, and then it will give you a short amount of time where you can run into Brutus and knock him out. He will come back, but it will give you a small breath of fresh air so you can continue grabbing some of the stuff that Olive Oyl is dropping down to you. So keep that in mind. There's not a whole lot of ways to beat Brutus. However, there are ways to kind of either distract him or just to break the stuff that he's throwing at you. So in the first level, there's this hanging crate, and you can jump up and you can actually hit it and knock it down, and the crate will fall onto his head, and you'll get extra points for doing that, and it will also slow Brutus down for a little bit. He won't be able to hit you or hurt you while he has that on his head. So that's a good way to knock him out in the first level, just for a little bit until he gets out of it, and it gives you more time to collect more items. He also will stop and he will start throwing bottles at you, but Popeye does have a punch button in this game, and you can punch the bottles and break them as they're flying at you. Interesting enough, there is no jump button in this game. You have to go up the stairs, have to use the ladders and stuff like that. There is no jump button. The only time that there's really a jump is when you jump onto this kind of board that's on the second level. You can jump on this board and it will launch you up, but that's the only jump in this game. There is no jump button, so keep that in mind. But you do have a punch button, and that does help punch objects. So you can punch the bottles that Brutus is throwing at you. In the third level, there's vultures that fly down and try to get you. You can punch them and knock them out as well. And if you play through all of the levels, there's 3 levels, and if you play through all of them, it will go to basically a harder difficulty, and you'll have a sea hag that's throwing skulls at you, and you are able to punch the skulls and break them before they hit you. So you do have some ways to have self-defense, but if Brutus touches you, that's still it. The only way to keep Brutus from touching you is if you have the spinach. So keep that in mind. Unless you have the spinach, Brutus can hurt you, and there's no way to really stop him. So you better watch out for him. And he has a few different moves he can use other than just throwing the bottles. He can jump from different levels. So if you're on level 1, there's a few different platforms that you can be on. He'll jump from one platform to another, and he can do multiple in rapid succession too, so you kind of have to watch out for that. He can also punch up, so if you're on a platform above him, he will punch the bottom of the platform and he can knock you out that way. And sometimes it doesn't really give you a good heads up for when he's going to do it. So sometimes it can feel a little bit cheap when you get hit, I will say. But you do have to watch out for him because he has some other moves that he can do. He can also just reach down and touch you if you're on the platform below him, and that will also eliminate you. So you got to watch out for him, and sometimes you will get hit and it will feel like a cheap death. It's just kind of part of it. It's an arcade game. Unfortunately, arcade games were made to get you to keep playing over and over and over again. It's so expect there to be some cheap things that happen every now and then. I do enjoy this game, though. I think it's a really fun game, especially if you are a fan of Popeye or just arcade games in general. If you are a fan of arcade games, this is definitely one that you should try out. While the levels may not be the most flashy thing in the world, they definitely do represent the world of Popeye, I think, fairly well. And the sprites and everything look really good, and you can tell what all the characters are, and I think that's one of the most important things. The game itself plays really smooth. I never had any issues with the way it plays, and I actually think that this is a really fun game. I've put multiple hours into this game, and I'm actually happy to actually finally talk about it. It's something that I've been wanting to talk about for a while, so I'm glad that I finally get to talk about it, and I highly recommend that you add Popeye to your collection if you can find it for a fair price. The only other thing to really talk about when it comes to this game is the fact that if you don't really like how the game plays and it's kind of like more easy mode before you get through the first levels and then the sea hag shows up, you can actually select like this second option and it will allow you to immediately jump into the harder difficulty with the sea hag already throwing stuff at you. So if you want to jump into the higher difficulties, you can do that right from the start, but right from the start screen. So that's pretty cool, and I did do that a few times because every now and then you just want a little bit more of a challenge when it comes to an arcade game. But go check out Popeye. If you can find it for a fair price, it's definitely worth adding to your collection. I wouldn't spend more than $20 on it personally, but I still think it's a pretty good game, and I highly recommend picking it up if you can find it for a fair price. So go check out Popeye on the Nintendo Entertainment System. It is a very fun game, and I'm very happy to finally be able to talk about it. I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Let me know down below what NES games I should review in the future. Let me know if there's any arcade games on the NES that you want me to review. I'm always up for suggestions, and I'm always up for recommendations. So I'll talk to you in the next one. You guys have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.